of love and mystery. Help us to recognize the spark of the divine that rests inside us all. May we know the joy of wholeness, and may we know the joy of being together. Opening words today from Andy Pakula. We begin in a Unitarian gathering by lighting a candle, a chalice flame. Feel free to do so yourself. Welcome to our time together for ever revealing truths from all faiths and from none, for meaning, love and deep connection, both within and outside of ourselves, thus to take action for the good of all, in acceptance and striving for tolerance. Let's begin with a little bit of gentle music to welcome us to the space, Spirit of Life. There is a world around us. We are in it right now, this social media, and surrounding our activities on social media and everything online is a working, perhaps living, perhaps even breathing artificial intelligence. Where does spirituality, where does the great goodness that we all should strive to be fit in this world of artificial intelligence? Paul Mason's book speaks strongly of a renewed humanity. We will have some words from Al Mutanabi today. We will have adapted words from Cynthia Burgo as we look at the Beatitudes of Jesus. And as is always at a spiritual gathering, You are invited to bring yourself and a transcendent connection. What takes you out of yourself and invites you to think of other things? But I'll begin reading from Matthew, the 8 Beatitudes of Jesus. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. And blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. And blessed are those who are pursued for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And I invite you to just hold a moment there. Blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness. It has a social media feel about it as people strive to demonstrate what they consider to be right and good. And we're all aware of some of the nastiness that can also prevail. For the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. A moment. And a short reflection now, an invitation to write a courage for today. If you have a little pen and notepad handy, you might want to just write that down. Can you write a courage for today? Courage. The courage to look at the empty space and not to offer to fill it, but to open it to all who, in filling it, become fulfilled. The courage to look at the full and show them they're empty. And in showing them, open them to alternative fillings and new fulfillment. 2 courages there for every day. Can you write a courage for today? Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Well, that's usually how the 3rd Beatitude of Matthew 5:5 is translated. But a better translation could be, blessed are the gentle. Or an even better one could be, blessed are the gentled. The gentled. Perhaps you can recall the lovely passage from The Little Prince when the prince asks to tame something. What does that mean? And the fox teaches him it means to form bonds. If you tame me, we'll need each other. You become responsible forever for that you have tamed. In this world of social media and artificial intelligence in which we live, we need to be responsible forever for that we have tamed. And this beatitude is working in that gentled arena. So the idea that those who have become spiritually domesticated, the ones who have tamed the wild animal energy within them, the passions and compulsions of our lower nature, these are the gentled ones. In the Gospel of Thomas, this is referred to as devouring the lion. Otherwise, the lion will devour us. So this idea of gentled and devouring the lion in the context of a clear, bright future, this speaks volumes. It speaks volumes from something that was written over 2,000 years ago, and without any explicit reference, certainly, to artificial intelligence and social media and what we experienced today. It's only inside when we deal with those animal instincts and that fear and scarcity disappears. You know, when we deal with that, it disappears. Boy, I think we'd like that on every single social media post. I know I would. So I'm going to do a couple of quotes now from the philosopher Taleb. I often quote Nicholas Taleb, and he's very bright, and his aphorisms, that's short phrases that make you think and then think some more. And just when you think you've thought it through, you start thinking again. He can be difficult and even tetchy, but I think I need to set the context a little. So what makes us fragile, us the human race, is that institutions cannot have the same virtues, honour, truthfulness, courage, loyalty, tenacity, as individuals. A challenge for us indeed. The 20th century was the bankruptcy of the social utopia. The 21st will be that of the technological one. And a final one from Taleb. The difference between technology and slavery is that slaves are fully aware they are not free. And so I think we are really being invited to consider here very clearly our role in a clear, bright future is that institutions, machines, artificial intelligence cannot have the same virtues that we have, honour, truthfulness, etc. And that if we're not careful, the social utopias that were designed or fabricated or evolved last century that came crashing down will be followed by one of the technological era. And of course we need to acknowledge, and I think perhaps more now than when I first started talking about this subject 5 or 6 years ago, that actually we are slaves to this process. Let's just take in a moment of pause. Just think of that idea that the machines and the institutions cannot be quite the same as individuals. Thank you. But now I invite you to think about renewing the concept of what it means to be human. We have so much negative talk on the one hand of this anthropological era, rightly telling us how we are not interacting correctly with the planet and the ecosystems, and its destruction, and it's fatalist. But we also need to look back to Enlightenment optimism in the West, other variants over in Asia in terms of the self and the future, that we need to construct an optimism that allows humanity to be the best it can be. And the spiritual path, the path that I like to engage people on, is about understanding their changes, their differences over time, and inviting people to consider how they can work with that to be the best that we can be. A clear, bright future seems to me to be very simply an evolution of each individual and us together, working with this new form of technology that is with us and around us and almost inside us, and to be the best that we can be. Going to offer you a short guided meditation now. I'm going to take you on a little walk. But just a few words first. You know, early sacred rituals of humanity were all related to nature, how and why we survived, you know, why the sky was blue when we needed it to be blue. You can see the sun probably coming in today. When the grey skies presented rain and the dark clouds rarely came. We hope that when the grey skies came and it was rain, that's all it was. It was nothing more sinister. And we'd celebrate the sunrise, etc., etc. You know, the dawn of light and the warmth of the sun. You know, in Christian terms, the tradition of Unitarianism, they talk at the beginning as the Word of God. But you could contrast with, you know, Indian understanding, where they talk about the beginning of sound. So the primordial that are used in chants are reminiscent or replications of the original primordial sound. And so we're in a place now where this primordial sound or this word of God, however you choose to describe it, is lost in this melee of social media stuff. Yes, we have evangelical religious people of various types putting out stuff on there, but we have then the robots putting out misinformation about stuff over there. It's a frenzy. It's a frenzy. So I'm going to invite you on a little walk now, a little meditation. And at the end of the walk, I'm going to invite you to go with clouds, to go with some clouds. And those you may choose to be the physical clouds from your walk, or you may choose to walk into the clouds that are within social media. But just imagine a walk now along a canal towpath. It's mid to late afternoon, the sun is setting but not quite yet, and you walk with lovely sunshine past wild geese, narrow boats, some pristine, almost hotel-like, others aging, some with wood on the top, with solar panels, others just with the embossed paint. A teenager cycles past, a couple with a dog wander by, and then you see ahead of you a little hill, and there's a white building maybe on top, and you think, I think I can just walk there for sunset. And so you walk. And as you rise up the steps to reach that hill sometime later, the sun is setting in perfect timing, slowly through the tree branches, barren of leaves, but with a light sparkling through them, tantalizingly showing you the renewal that is almost with you now, almost in every breath. Almost before you know it, that sun has set, and as you walk amazingly through another set of branches, a full moon peeks out and rises more quickly than you would ever imagine, shining, all part of the renewal that is right now. Just hold yourself in a moment with your glimmering branches in sun setting or moon rising, whichever you feel. And now I'd like you to just from your heart offer some words of love and kindness and send them into the clouds that are there with the moon, or send them into the cloud of the internet. We need the words of goodness to travel, to be guided to where they're needed to be heard and to where they will be received. Say those words now in your mind, and if you feel able, just say them out loud. Well, thank you. I do hope you managed to go on a little walk then. Maybe the one I described, or maybe another one. And maybe today you go on a beautiful afternoon to go and have a walk. But think of those words of goodness. We have a song that we often play, and I love it a lot. It reminds us of the dance of life. The clear, bright future comes from believing that we can let life be a dance.
Let a dancing song be heard, play the music, say the word.
But I'll just give you a couple, and then I'll have a twist. God is a verb, not a noun. God is a verb, not a noun. We're not human beings with a spiritual life, but spiritual beings with a human life. Inviting us to think about how God fits in that context. And God is a dangerous delusion. God is a dangerous delusion. And the twist I'd like to give you with that is, let's change the word God for human now, shall we? Let's change the word God for human. Human is a verb, not a noun. We are not human beings with a spiritual life, but spiritual beings with a human life. So in the context of that human being a verb and not a noun, how does that phrase change for you? And human is a dangerous delusion. Human is a dangerous delusion. I like the idea of God being described as a verb, not a noun. And Franciscan Richard Rohr does it really well in his book, The Divine Dance, which is somewhere behind me over here, where I've got some of my books stacked. And he talks about that action between, very much talking from a Franciscan Christian point of view about the Trinity, but that between, whether we're a nudgeting discomforter or whether there's a spinner of chaos. What is it? What is it? We are a creedless faith. You're invited to consider your spiritual path and continually move. Nobody's going to tell you what to believe. But the idea that the highest being is a verb and not a noun is really interesting in the context of a clear, bright future and how we work with social media and artificial intelligence. It's really interesting because we have to take some actions. Yeah. It's not a noun, a description of. Now we can't go, here it is. We've now written a prescription of how artificial intelligence is going to be. We've written a prescription of how social media should be. There it is. The God of social media is resolved. No. Action is continual action. And therefore we have to work with that relationship, this idea of verb, not noun. Our second beatitude for today. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. So this is an idea of flow about it, because there's an exchange going on. We give mercy. Thank you. We receive mercy. Thank you. And it's no coincidence, actually, because the root of the word mercy comes from the Etruscan merc, which gives us commerce and merchants and stuff like that. So it's about exchange. Whoa. What's going on in our minds, in social media, in artificial intelligence all the time? Well, crikey, there's a lot of exchange. So often from tradition, from a faith point of view, mercy is talked about divine mercy. Lord, have mercy upon us. It's a confession, maybe a confession of weakness, and also perhaps it's a confession of dependency, dependent on that mercy. Certainly with Unitarians and with many people who do not define faith as part of their lives at all, that's out of style. Yeah, it's just something that it's just not there. It's not going. But there's another understanding that it's not so much that God has mercy, but that something that just God is. So in the context of a clear, bright future, rather than, depending on a mercy being offered through whatever it is that's offering it, there is an idea that it is, that it's there and it needs to be part of the fabric. Exchange is part of our existence. Without all those exchanges over tens of thousands of years, we would not be as we are now. Granted, I can accept it's a rare set of exchanges that's brought us to this beast, me, Mark. But here it is. I am here. I am here. Giving is receiving, is the energetic frequency upon which our universe is aligned. All other approaches to energy immediately cause dissonance and disharmony in our life experience. Given is receiving. So that's from a South African teacher, Michael Brown, in the Presence Process. So this exchange is at the very heart, from a Christian point of view, about not being separated from God. From a clear, bright future point of view, it's about not being separated from what we feel we need to do and the best we can be. Well, we know there are many dystopian views of how this world's going to going to turn out. And we heard from Taleb earlier in his misery about technology. And Paul Mason's book does a good history of how it's beginning to take our lives. And we have experienced it with the influence on elections, understanding of vaccines. We are emerging from our tough and difficult times that we are now experiencing. And blessings to all of you who have lost loved ones, who are struggling to care for people. Blessings and thanks to everybody who is supporting the process of vaccination and well-being. But we need to view our clear, bright future as we emerge from this pandemic in a way that perhaps lets the sun shine as it is doing today. There is a lot we can do to participate. Some years ago, Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web and Unitarian too, by the way, talked about how he wanted to reset the clock with the internet so that these biases that are being manipulated can get taken out. He's still working on that. Godspeed to all those who are. We need this connection to arrive. We need the ability to experience mercy in all our connections on social media. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Even when I was young, there was words of wisdom passed down in stories and phrases, and now everything's in memes and on the internet, and we get short phrases. I know this myself from the work that I do on Facebook and social media. People love the short quote that hits the spot at that point in time. There is just so much of that. And so if we take the need for our spiritual connection to be involved in this future of artificial intelligence, we need to keep dropping those short words in. We need to be willing to provide a context for this online world that is a clear, bright future. Share good news and good information. Make posts about seeking truth and understanding truth and getting to truth, celebrating that humanity can get to truth, that we are striving to be the best that we can be. There are robot or bot machines that pump out fake news. But why can't we pump out celebrations that enshrine mercy to be given and therefore received? Why can't we offer out things to be gentled and blessed, that bless those who have tamed the animal instincts? It's these values such as this, which traditionally might have been said as coming from God or a specific faith or a political perspective. But we can thoroughly think through on our spiritual journey, on our human journey, this journey that is of the interconnectedness of all that is. We do this in community. We do this by knowing deeply each other. We do this by seeking truth, by blessing the gentled and the merciful. We do this with love. So try, if you can, to think of the gentled and the taming of the animal, and offer every chance to do with next door neighbours or children, somebody you engage with on social media. And as we come into renewed contact with our fellow human beings again, let's do it with every expression of future hope and clear, bright future that we can muster. Let's not fall back to our old ways. We have a song which has a beautiful chorus, and it reminds us of how we need to get to know each other, how we need to sing a song with each other. And the symbol of that is the rose in the winter time. We're coming through now into spring. There is the smile of crocuses and snowdrops and sunrises and sunsets and beautiful moonrises. But let's not forget this long winter time we've been through. We must sing a song with each other as often as we can. I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Thank you for walking with us, looking for a clear, bright future. We'll be talking about experiencing that next time we meet. Our final words are from Abu Mutanabi. Courage to reason, second place must take. For valour should not balance judgment shake. But if both in a hard soul united are, then glory's realms their own domain shall make. Go well, and until we meet again, remain open to the beloved of your heart. Blessed be.